Hi, welcome to Sahadhyana. Today's video is part of Scilab for beginners. So this would be tutorial 3. In first two tutorials we have seen how to start a file, how to basically use the console, and accordingly how to make a single file using Scilab, a script file using Scilab. So as I promised in second tutorial, in this tutorial we will be trying to learn, or we will be quickly going through the important properties and the minimum things required for you to know while plotting a graph in Scilab. So to start with, I already have a file with me, just created to save time. I have taken two values x1 and y1, to array of values x1 and y1, and I am trying to plot those values. Okay. In Scilab there is inbuilt function for drawing a graph or plotting a graph. That is nothing but plot of two variables, or even more variables are possible. So in this case I have x1 an array of element values, y1 an array of values, and I am just writing plot of x1 comma y1. So let us see what happens. If I save and execute this, so I am going to get this plot, right? So this is expected plot, because I have given for these values of x I have to get these values of y. For 2 it's 1, for 3 it's 5, the corresponding values. This is expected, I am getting expected graph. So here something important to be remembered here is, or the common mistake what usually people make, okay, when they write long scripts, is the parameters, the total number of parameters in x1 and y1 should be matching. For instance, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters, y1 is also having 5 parameters, so it was matching, that's why I got the plot. If I have only 4, for instance, in x1, if I try to execute this, see, I am going to get a blank graphical window. Scilab is failing to plot x1 versus y1. What would be the reason? The reason is the total number of arguments in x1 and y1 are not matching. If you visit the console, then you will have this error there. Okay, that this, okay, there are so many things there, so I'll execute it again to show you that. Okay, so if you go to the console, see, you can have this error, wrong size for input arguments 2 and 3. So it is incompatible dimension basically. So that's what it shows. That's why I have this graphical window as 0. Okay, in the sense blank. So always remember this. So this is how you create a simple plot. Okay, so I have this plot now. Now basically, when you plot or when you draw a graph, you would like to have labels, right? In some label for horizontal axis and some label for vertical axis, that is x-axis and y-axis. And it's also better to have some title for the graph. So let us try to learn how to do that. So you can easily do it using adding some scripts here. So GCA, A equal to GCA is what I have added here. To do so, GCA stands for get current axis. Okay, so it is going to give get you the current axis parameters. So basically, if I do this A equal to GCA, just to have a knowledge of this, okay, to understand what it is, I just copy paste this in console. So if I do enter this, basically see, these are the parameters I have. Okay, so all these parameters, okay, all these handles will be now stored in A, as you can see here, A equal to. So this has A has now all, it is called a function GCA, get current axis, and see these are the parameters of graph. All these are now stored within A. Now you can use this object A for setting the boundaries, as well. So in this graph, before going to labels, in this graph the parameters was set, okay, in the previous, for example, in this graph the parameters, in the sense the x boundary and y boundary was by default set by Scilab. Look at this, yeah. So my maximum value of x was 8 and my maximum value of y was 20. So as you can see here, the x-axis is limited to 8 and y-axis is limited to 20. So I never told that it should be limited, but based on this value, it is auto limited. By default, Scilab has restricted x to 8 and y to 20 based on the maximum value what I have given them. Now if you don't want to do it so, then you can set these boundary values. The size of x-axis and y-axis can be set. So that is set using this script. So first I am going to get the current axis parameters to the object A, and I am using this object A dot data bounds. Okay, so it's called by boundary, data boundaries or data underscore bounds. And I write it in this fashion. This is the starting value of x and this is the end value of x. This is the starting value of y and this is end value of y. If it was a 3-dimensional plot, I will have one more, that is z axis also. So in 2-dimensional plot, I have only x and y. So I have 0, 10, 0, 25. And I am plotting using the function plot to plot it. So if I plot, what I get is, now see the boundary, the bounds has changed. Now x-axis is up to 10 and y-axis is up to 25. So now if you change this, if you make it 30, the boundary will change to 30. So you can practice this. When you do this, it's very easy. You can practice this. So this now becomes 30. So this will give a better visualization. Okay. Now as I promised, labeling of x-axis and y-axis. So now we understood that all the current axis parameters are stored in A. So throughout I will be using this A to pick up those, to address those parameters. So just now we have seen how this data boundary is done. I hope this is clear. Now I can give a title for the plot and I can give a label for the plot. Okay, we will go to this font size later. So let me remove that now. So I have given a title as Scilab plot. I have given x label as x1. Anything is okay. I have just picked up the same value, same text, and y1, x1 and y1. You can give anything because in these double inverts, okay, you can type whatever is required for you, anything required for you, because they are just labels. Okay, that doesn't change. I will make capital X, capital Y. Okay, it should not have a feeling that this and this should be always same. Doesn't matter, because this is a variable used within the program. This is just a label, text as written here. So this is x label dot text and this is y label dot text and this is title dot text. So let us execute this and check what happens. So now see, I have a title for my plot, I have an x label, I have an y label. This is very important when you do some study, when you write a script and you want this graphical window as a proof for your study. But to put it in report, maybe you have to put it in a technical paper where these labels or titles may be very important to convey the reader what you are trying to project to them, the values to them, right? So now sometimes you feel that the font size, the default font size is not enough or it's not very attractive, then you have different options of changing the color of this font. You have option of changing the size of this font. You have option of changing the font by itself. But for today's video purpose, I'll just show you. You can obviously explore on this later on. But for the purpose of video, I'll just show you how to change the font size. So for changing the font size, for title, I'll be using a.title.font_size. So whenever you are using two words, space is not allowed in the script, so you have to use underscore. So font underscore size equal to 4. The next label font size I have made 3. When I say 4, it is 4 times the default size. Please understand. It is not that what we have in Microsoft Word font size 4. Okay, it is 4 times. Whatever I had just now, what I have shown you, the size will increase by 4 when I write this. Here the size will increase by 3. Okay, so I have increased the font size of title, X label and Y label, and if I save and execute this, yeah, I'm going to get see increased font size. Scilab plot is okay. This looks nice. So these are the basic things which you would like to know. Now to add upon in the plot, the function plot, I have just plotted x1 comma y1. You can have something like this. If I want to mark those points, so in this graph you are getting a linear graph, right? And these points are not well marked. So if you like to mark those points, what you can do is, in a single, after x1 comma y1, put a comma, put single inverted comma and put a star here, or anything, a circle, write an O there, whatever. And if you execute this, you can see that those points are now marked properly. You can see that these points are marked. And if you feel that these points are of same color of the plotted graph, when you would change the color, you can write, if you want it in red, you can write R here. So now if you execute this, you are going to get that. So these are the points. So this is nice. Okay. Now sometimes you want only this graph. So always you remember, once a graphical window is open, it will plot over that. It's not automatically off. So I didn't close this. I just minimized this and I have done this. Okay. So whatever the changes I have made, the changes have happened in the existing plot itself. Okay, so by default it is going to plot with line, a linear line. It will try to fix it with a linear line. Then I told you to add this star asterisk mark, which will give me or highlight those points where I have plotted that, how I have plotted that, and later I have put an R to change the color. But if you are doing this without, after closing this, okay, for example, you close this plot now, you are not holding the plot, and now if you save and execute this, you are going to get only the points. So this you have to remember. Now you are just going to get the points because you have changed the style of the plot to asterisk. So basically this is changing the style of the plot. You have changed the style of the plot to asterisk and changed the color to red. But you have holded the graph, the initial window, and over that if you put asterisk, you will get those points as asterisk. Okay, you can work on it. It's interesting. Okay, nice. Now I close this. Okay. Now I have more than one value, multiple plots. We just quickly go through that also. So I have these x1, y1 values, and I have x2, y2 also. I have just taken randomly some other parameters, x2 and y2, and if I want to plot that, so all these I will keep same, doesn't matter. And now I am plotting x1, y1, x2, y2. So what it basically does is it plots a graph between x1 and y1, then it plots graph x2, y2. If you go on writing this, it will plot a two-dimensional graph between first two arguments, every two arguments. So x1 versus y1, x2 versus y2. If you have x3, y3, then you will have x3 versus y3. By default, The plot function will do that for you. Okay, just let us check that. I have saved and executed. See, I have got 2 graphs now. So this blue one will be the first one and the green one will be the second one. So if you have that confusion, which is the first one, which is the second one, you can give the color here so that you will identify. Maybe I want the first graph to be blue or maybe red, and the second graph to be blue. It's up to you. Blue. Then I can give this and execute this, so that I will be very sure, because when you are plotting so many graphs in the same graphical window, you should be thorough that each parameter, which is my first parameter, which is my second parameter, you should be thorough with. Okay, I think this is very clear. Okay, now you can change the style. I am holding this, I am putting an asterisk here, I am putting an O here. Okay, so now if you execute this, my graph will give me those points. See, the first one is the asterisk and the second one with these dots. I have written O. Okay, in your keyboard just press English letter O. So that is going to give me these points. Now somebody will question me that I don't, sir, basically we don't want, hello my friend, I don't want this plot on the same. I have these 2 values and I need to plot these 2 values in the same graphical window, but I need them separate. I need them separated from each other, or I need it separately. Yeah, that is also possible. So let us make that possible. So for that we use another function known as subplot. Use another function known as subplot. Okay, so I have managed the same script and I just added subplot. So when you are using subplot, instead of plotting it together, I am plotting it separately. I was plotting here x1, y1, x2, y2 using a single function. Now I will be plotting it separately. So I will create a subplot for x1, y1 and I will create another subplot for x2, y2. Now what is these arguments between in subplot? What are these arguments? How to write this argument? The first 2 values says that it is m by n, matrix size m by n. So this says that I have 2 rows and 1 column. I am going to create a graphic window of 2 rows and 1 column, and the first plot, that is x1 comma y1, is in the first row. So I have 2 rows and 1 column, and my plot x2 comma y2 in second row. So this is the meaning. It's very simple, very straightforward if you understand it. Okay, so let me try to execute this. So I got now in the same graphic window 2 plots. So this one is x1 y1 as labeled here, and this one is x2 y2. It's not labeled, so let us label that also. So but understood this is x1 y1, plot x1 y1 is in first row and plot x2 comma y2 is in the second row, as I have instructed the Scilab using this script. For adding the title and labeling for the second plot, we have to basically use a function, that is another function which help us in doing so. That function is known as xlabel. Okay, so basically, function is xtitle. Xtitle, first the title, then xlabel, ylabel and setlabel if you have. So this is how we give it. Okay, instead of writing a dot title dot text Scilab plot 1. Okay, so I have done this because we already have this properties of the axis with me in object A. So I was just using this is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is by calling the function xtitle. You can give the title, you can give x2, you can give to y2. Okay, here also you can follow the same. So this is one way of doing it and this is another way of doing it. So I just kept it reserved so that you will know both the ways. So for second plot I am using I'm basically labeling using this function. So let us see how it looks like now. So if I save and execute, so I have now both the plots. This is just because of the size that it's coming over. So if you increase the size, you can see it's neat. So this is Scilab plot 1, this is Scilab plot 2, this is x2 versus y2, and this is x1 versus y1. So these are the basic things you should be knowing when you are using or when you are trying to use graphical window in Scilab. So to add upon, there is one or two more interesting properties lying with graphical window. So let us go to console for that. CLC, okay, I'll clear all this, and here I'll just type plot. So there's an inbuilt graphical window available for us. Okay, so it comes something like this. So I just want to show you two interesting properties of this graphical window. So one is rotate and the other one is magnify. So basically how to magnify and check. So we'll use this plot to do that. So click on the first magnifying lens, okay, zoom area. So click on that and click on the graphical window where you need to zoom. Suppose I need to zoom it here. Click once. This is very important. Click once, then drag it and click again. So now this area is zoomed. So same. Now if you want this to be normal back, click the second one, original view. So this will take this to original view. So in some cases, if you want to know exactly some offset, some noises kind of to read it, okay, minute data, so you can use this. You can click it where you need it, drag it, make a rectangle box or whatever box you need, and then leave it. Click it again, 2 clicks. Okay, click it, drag it, and click. So you'll get this. And if you want back the normal picture, you click the original view. So the next important feature what it provides you is rotate. Okay, this is very useful in 3-dimensional plot, but in 2-dimensional plot also this can be useful. So you click this, then you can drag this. Okay, right click, drag. So you have to do right click here. Okay, right click and use your mouse pointer to. This is nice. This is a very good property what Scilab gives us. When you can look at this graph, how it looks like from all the directions. So these are the two interesting and useful properties what we have. So I have just in this video, I have just given you a quick reference or quick values required for plotting or drawing a simple graphs in Scilab. A lot of properties. We did not touch upon these tools what we have here. If you go to edit, you have this a lot of figure properties. Okay, one simple thing which I can explain before closing of this video is, if you go to edit and go to figure properties, you have something here, figure name. You can change this figure name if you require. If you don't, say figure name is something like this, you can see on the top, graphic window, numbers row. Okay, so this number is nothing but figure ID. So this figure ID is automatically given by the Scilab. You go on plotting different plots. Once you are used to these plots and you are going to plot so many, so you have this 1, 2, 3 graphic window number 1, 2, 3. You can have a lot of windows open. Okay, for instance, since now we are beginners, so I'll just tell you how to change the name. Okay, let me change. So give some name like my plot and press enter. This is very important. You press enter, you can see here. Now this has changed to my plot. This looks very silly at this point of time, but as a beginner, if you know all these kind of labeling, titling and giving the name for these plots, then later on you can stop thinking too much on these styling parameters, and you can concentrate more on the scripts. When you study more into, when you watch these videos and now you are a beginner, and when later you are good a programmer using Scilab, then these things will come by, and you can concentrate more on the data or values, okay, which you are studying upon. So graphical window or this plots are going to help you a lot in presenting your ideas in a better way. So in this tutorial I'm going to stop on plots, even though there are a lot of other properties, okay. I expect you to explore because it should come through practice. You cannot master the plot just by watching YouTube videos. But still, if you have doubts and if you want me to explain more on other properties of plots, please comment in the comment box so that I can come up with required videos. Thank you for now. Bye.